Namaskar. Now the parliamentary election is round the corner. It is going to be completed by sometime first week of May itself. April full we will have elections in various phases, and election commission is going to notify very soon the election and all. Now this is the right time we assess the governance of NDA in the last 10 years. The government headed by Mr. Narendra Modi. The reason is, say, 2 times they already won the election and they have governed for 10 years. Now they are seeking votes for 3rd term. So now we should assess if we support the same government to come back, what are the reasons? First thing, in the last 10 years, there was no major corruption charge against any of the central ministers, including the head, Mr. Narendra Modi. He is a die-hard honest man, so there is no corruption charge. The people who raised corruption charge against government on Rafale deal, it was government to government, but still they tried to make all nonsense. Ultimately they went to Supreme Court, and there the political leader who made a wild allegation apologized there, regretted, and then come back. So Supreme Court gave them rightly that they can't play politics there and all. Okay. So there is absolutely no corruption charge against this government. We have to see the contrast of UPA governments of, from 2004 to 14, headed by an honest man, Mr. Manmohan Singh, who was Prime Minister then. But the government was marred with all sort of corruption charges, major corruptions. 2G. The loss was presumed to be lakhs of crores. And the money transferred, the money laundering, was thousands of crores. Though the people who were accused of 2G corruption escaped from the lower court, the case is now in High Court. I think they cannot escape from this corruption charge. Let us wait for the result from the court. Because the point is, Supreme Court has cancelled the license issued under 2G. What is the reason? Prima facie, there was a huge corruption. And then coal block allocation. This 2G is mainly DMK and Congress nexus. The South Party, DMK, was known for corrupt practices. So 2G was their handiwork. Of course, Congress was party to that. And coal block allocation again, thousands of crores of rupees loss were there. And the case is going on. That is again, Congress was accused of corruption. And there were many other corruptions, and during those 10 years, especially the second part, the corruption was huge. And people were feeling ashamed of everyday's corruption news. So the last 10 years under Mr. Modi, there was no such. Okay, people like Kejriwal will make all sort of blabbering. But when they go to court, they will try to say something or say sorry, and this is what is happening in the court whenever they raise corruption charge against government, without any valid material and other things. Now, second point, there is absolutely no scope for one family rule under the BJP, of course, the coalition government of NDA. Congress, which boasts of that we were freedom struggle party and all, has become reduced to one family party, and the party is working for one family. So it has gone into that level. But the BJP cannot be accused of such things, and that is another important point. Now, development, the infrastructure development, people can see what was the development in the infrastructure, especially road and rail network. Road, we have now Of course, this road development was done in Congress rule also, but the pace with which it is done now, in the last 10 years, all the major cities are connected by 4 lane. And now it is going into 6 lane and 8 lane also. Earlier it was done here and there and some place. But now the volume of work that has resulted in economic boom also, because the movement of goods is very important. So road infrastructure, rail infrastructure and air network also. Airports are built, many airports were reformed, or many such things. And communication revolution, 4G, 5G spectrums were all auctioned with no corruption charge. You see the contrast of 2G when UPA government was accused of huge manipulation and corruption, and the DMK people were making money out of that. Of course, Congress was party to that. So now 5G and 4G has revolutionized our communication. Now everything is done with our mobile phone due to implementation of 4G and 5G. And inflation is always a matter of concern, but this government has managed to keep it within around 5 to 6%. During COVID time it increased more, but that is a world phenomena, and COVID was one thing which was imposed by China. I am going to make separate video on Chinese misbehavior and misdemeanor, all those things. Chinese misadventure also, and their threat to the world peace. I am going to make separate video. So otherwise this inflation, this government has managed to keep around 5, and their target is 4 plus or minus 2. By and large it is hovering around 5 to 6%. That is another important. And economic development. India is one of the leading and major economic countries which grows well, and India is the first among them. Of course, India has become 5th largest economy now, and now they are moving towards to become 3rd big economy. Now, COVID management, everybody knows. We suffered, we lost a lot of people, thousands of people, and so is the world. It's all due to Chinese hidden agenda. I suspect it may not be an accident, because my suspicion is coming out of the behavior of China. We will talk about that in a separate video. But COVID management was done. The first wave was controlled remarkably in a commendable manner. Of course, the lethargy or whatever you call, the people were also not probably cooperating, and due to a wrong decision of allowing Kumbh Mela during that time, all those things, the second wave we suffered hugely. But somehow government managed to tide over that also, and within 1.5 years we could get vaccines and all. And India led the world to supply vaccines to the third world countries, and most of them freely also, apart from immunizing our own people. The vaccination for our people have been done 2 times plus 1 booster dose also. So successfully we could manage COVID onslaught. Of course, with the second wave suffering, I agree, I acknowledge that. We could have, the government is honest, I know, but still there was a failure. But they managed well in the end. And so COVID management is an important thing. The India stature has grown in the world. And other economic development, we have already discussed, but still, for the poor, the direct benefit transfer. That was actually conceptualized by UPA government, but they couldn't implement fully. But Modi government has steadfast moved forward and implemented. Now the payment and subsidy, anything, goes to the people to the account directly. So there is no middleman, there is no pilferage, at least to that extent. Once upon a time, I remember Rajiv Gandhi saying that when the government spends, hardly 12% reaches the public. That is, out of 1 rupee, only 12 paise reaches to the public. Now those things have been totally changed. At least pilferage in the middleman level has been curtailed totally. Jandan, Aadhaar, mobile, they were all linked, and the poor people get the services, whatever is given by the government, in a seamless manner. Free gas connection, Ujjavala scheme to the village woman. The people who do not own a house, lakhs of houses have been constructed in the last 10 years. Government, I think, gave some 3 lakhs subsidy to the people with a small land, and landless people, of course, the Pata land and this is given. And lots of houses are constructed and people are benefited in that. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. When the Narendra Modi government initiated this in the first term, I was wondering, is it possible in our country to ensure cleanliness? Now we see, of course, you can't make 100%, but most of the towns and cities, village by default normally, most of the villages are neat and clean. Exception may be there somewhere. But cities, cleanliness was a big issue that this government could achieve. And not only that, this Sauchalaya, that is lavatory for each household things. Most of the villages also have got now this bathroom facility. These are all brought by this NDA government in the last 10 years. And the potable water has become now pipe water. The earlier government used to say potable water. Now they are moving towards, of course, 100% it has not been achieved, but they have achieved a lot of things. Each household has got water connection, drinking water connection. It is in a full swing. I think they will complete in the next term mostly, 100%. GST implementation. There are some hiccups people say, but the fact of the matter is there were n number of taxes, entry tax, this, VAT, sales tax, so many things. And all these things were clubbed into one single tax. Of course, there are multiple rates, and there are certain cases like oil, crude oil, that is petrol and diesel. They are all kept outside the purview because states are wanting more money from the oil marketing and other things, oil selling, that is petrol and diesel. Otherwise, it has brought in a very good reform, and it has really increased the revenue of government, and 50% goes to state and 50% is with the center. These southern state people make false statement of stating that they are given very raw deal and they are given less than 29%. No, the constitutional arrangement is based on the Finance Commission's award. I think some 42% has to be apportioned to the state other than GST. GST, every state has got 50% share collected from the state. And all other state income tax, corporate tax and other things are developed into 42 plus remaining to the center. Naturally, center has to handle overall all over India development, national security, military arrangement, because we have in our northern Bharat, our enemy Chinese army, and western border, of course, Pakistan. They are now under control, but it is not in a normal condition. So government has to spend on security of the country. So naturally it is all provided in the constitution. So the southern states are making politics out of that. It's not the real fact. They get the correct devolution. If they don't get, they can go to court. It is all only politics they do. They waste the money by all doling out freebies. People who deserve, that is people who are in the lower level of income, who are in poverty, they have to be provided all facilities. Completely for everybody. Kejriwal says every woman can travel by bus freely. What is the use? The people who can afford money, you give some token to the people in the lower strata, let them use the token for their travel. No, it is vote politics. Same way, food you give to the lower people free, not for all people. In south, if you see Tamil Nadu, there are people, all ration card holders, most of them, not all, most of them, get free rice. It's not required. I have seen government employees receiving free rice. It is cheating on the government. So these sort of welfare measures should be directed towards the people who are really suffering, who are poor, not for all the people. So this is actually mismanagement of finance by government. Of course, central government also gives relief by means of grain supply, food grain supply for the eligible poor. Ayushman Bharat. The lower level people, automatically they become member. You don't need to apply. With your Aadhaar card, it is all seeded. So the treatment is ensured. Maybe awareness we have to see, but I see a lot of people getting benefited about in Ayushman Bharat. And in manufacturing side, this Make in India policy. So earlier we were good at only service export. Now we are moving towards manufacturing side. I think next 10 years we will see a great boom in manufacturing sector also, giving huge opportunities for the people to work. And the small thing, another ex-service personnel, one rank, one pension. Actually, the issue is, for military people, they after 20 years, 15 years, 20 years service, they can go on retirement also, because the Jawans cannot work till 60 years. Only the officer level they will be working. Jawans, they should be fit to run and other things. So the 40 years also they come back from service. They are getting pension for that. Okay. But every 10 years the salaries are refixed for government people and pensioners also. And they also get some hike. But it so happens, after the service, 20 years, 30 years down the line, the same level of people who worked 30 years ago and who retired now, there will be huge difference, because the wages have all been raised in the last 20 years or 30 years. Because the military personnel retire at very early age, they risk their life and then come back. So this anomaly was actually a heartburn for ex-servicemen personnel. This government has bridged that gap also. And political side, their ideological thing, Article 370 was removed. And before August 5, 2019, it was unimaginable. Though BJP was claiming from the beginning, nobody was expecting that it will be done so soon. And they could do. And we see the difference. The stone throwing in Jammu and Kashmir has come down, especially Kashmir. It is under full control. Pakistan has been shown their place. And all these things, the development is going on, and border areas, road, etc., hugely coming up. The road development in the borders and northeastern area is a huge success, and lots of areas roads have been widened, lots of developments. And Chinese salami slice policy is kept under control. Otherwise, earlier they will move slightly, some area they will occupy. When we object, they will occupy 10 kilometer and go back 2 kilometer. So we will feel satisfied, yeah, they have gone back by 2 kilometer, but 8 kilometer they have already swallowed. This is how they were doing all along. Chinese expansionist approach has to be totally stopped. World has to be together to fight back China. China is a world threat, and India is standing against China in the last 10 years openly. Otherwise, I don't say that we should always treat China as enemy. If they behave correctly, yes, they are our neighbor, and we should accept the friendship also, but not when they try to grab our land and try to belittle us in all the international fora. We should not allow such things. So this government is handling China in the right way. My expectation is government should be still more forthright to fight back with China. Pakistan, instead of rhetoric, action was shown everywhere. Whenever there is a terrorist attack, either surgical strike, retaliation strike, everything was done. Now that is, in the last 4 or 5 years, there is no major terrorist attack from Pakistan support. It is a success of this government. And international arena, US rather wants Indian partnership, probably as a counterbalance to Chinese hegemony. But we need US support. The Quad has done a major thing. China actually blabbers. When Quad people meet, China always say, no, it is against one country. China has to be taught a lesson. Because China government is not the will of the people of China. A group of people in the name of party, they decide everything. And it is imposed on the people. I don't think it is, since it is not a democratic country, I don't think it is the will of the Chinese people, whatever the Chinese government do against world countries. In South China, India, Taiwan, and many other places. China needs to be taught a lesson. And of course, India stands straight against China in all this nonsense. We should not have accepted the occupation of Tibet by China. That is a mistake we have done. In fact, we should go back on that and say that the border is between Tibet and India, not with China. And G20, it's a great success. The declaration was possible even though China was trying to do spoil sport. Even US analysts openly called out Chinese behavior, and the India could bring Chinese fellows also around the table. So foreign policy success we can boast of. India's respect has increased in the world arena also. So to keep the moment of growth, economic development and country development, we need the same country to come back another term also. Let us hope for the best. Thank you.